Welcome to another video. In this video we'll show you how to work with conditions and actions, or multi-conditions and actions. Really interesting video because you will learn how to manipulate just about anything you want in Titan web conditionally and basically do some real magic with it. So let me show you first. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and grab a table. And table is going to bring back accounts, and we're going to bring up to 20. We're not going to set any conditions. And my first column is going to be account name, second one is going to be account type, third one is going to be account number. Click apply, and then there you have it. There's my account. Now here's the thing. Let's move this here to the side. Let's go over here and then get a button. And then I'm just going to make this button a bit bigger, and we'll give it a label too. We'll say go ahead and bring my accounts, or shall we say click here to see accounts. Alright, so now what you can do is you can click on something like this, go over to on click action under interactivity, and then now you've got two sort of sets of conditions that you can run on a specific action. You can run an if condition, or you can just run a configure action by itself. So somewhere like this I can go, so let's go ahead and access our Salesforce integration, and then what I'm going to do is this get over here, I'm going to turn this into user action. So let's turn this into user action. Let's close this, let's click save, let's go back to the button, click on configure, back to configure action here, and the Salesforce action, what I'm going to do is just going to add the get like this. Click apply, and click save. So let's preview this. So this is not going to load until I click here. So that's what we're going to do, right? And there you go. These are going to bring back some of our accounts in Salesforce. Now that's one way of doing it. Obviously that's just your standard on-click action just by itself, nothing special, right? But what if we were to include a condition plus action? How would that work? Well, let me show you. So we'll get rid of this button, we'll go over to, let's say, input, and we'll use, I don't know, let's use a checkbox. So we'll get this checkbox, and I'm just going to go ahead and label it. So 1 second, here we are. Now I'm just going to say click here to view all hospitals. Alright, something like this. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into this Salesforce get here and just change the condition. I'm going to say bring back if the account name contains the word hospitals. Like that. Actually, I want it to be hospital, not hospitals. Okay, just like that. Apply, close, and save. Now here's the best part. So same thing. We're going to go here. We're going to go over to conditions. As I said, you can do on-click action or you can do conditions, either one. This time we'll do conditions, and in condition, here's what we're going to do. We're going to say if this checkbox is checked, then go ahead and run an action, which is going to be our get. Click apply, click save, click preview. So now nothing's going to load, but as soon as I check this, voila, we got our action plus a condition working. So a condition was that this must be checked in order for this table to load. That's a simple condition, and our action is the get. So the first and then the second. Alright, really nice. So that's sort of like the part one of conditions, where we use single action and single condition. And the next up I'm going to show you multiple conditions and multiple actions and how you can benefit from that as well. Right, let's talk about multi-conditions and how to run multi-actions within multi-conditions. So here I've got page 1, and then I've got page 2. Simple, straightforward. What I want to do is I want to be able to bring all the contacts related to this hospital into second page. But I want to do it in a way where I'm passing multiple conditions through, and I will show you the execution as well. To explain this, the first thing I'm going to do is get a button. In the button, I'm going to rename it. I'm going to say, show me hospital contacts. All right, that's on page number 1. Page number 2, I'm going to save and continue, and I'm going to grab a table. Here's my table, and I'm going to bring contacts. Next. Now, the problem is going to come here, because what I want to do is I actually want to pass a certain parameter, which is actually this ID here. I want to pass that in. So what we'll do is we will go back to the home page, go over to my gear icon, go over to tools, and we're going to set up custom parameters. So I've got one here which I'm going to delete, and then we'll add a new one. We'll call it ACC ID, which essentially means account ID. And I'm not going to add any value in here because I'm going to show you how to pass a value through multiple conditions. Click apply, and that's good to go. Now over to page number 2, save and continue. What I'm going to do is grab a table. Here's the table, and this table is going to bring back contacts up to 20, where account ID equals field my parameter, which is the ACC ID. Click apply, next, and then we're going to bring back full name. We're going to bring back email, and then we'll bring back account ID, which is cross-reference to account name, like this. So once I set it up, I'll come back here, make this table a bit bigger, and then click save. Now if I go back to my home page, this is where I'm going to set my conditions. First thing I'm going to do is, in the action here, I'm going to configure the first action, which is to simply pass the parameter into the next page. So the way I do that is I go to Effect Elements, and I say Project Param, and then I choose my set value, and then I'm simply going to just take this value here and then just paste it. Click apply, so I know that's what's going to happen. Click apply. So that's like rule number 1. All right, you can even add descriptions here if you wish. Rule number 2, what I'm going to do is simply just run a predefined action, which is to go to next page. So I'll do go to page, and then I'll select page 2. So rule number 1, I'm passing the parameter. Rule number 2, I'm going to the page, and then in rule number 3, I'm going to run my get, which is the table get. But before I do that, I want to make sure it's run as a trigger on user action, like this. Done and done. So if I go back into this button, have a look at the on-click action and the conditions, you can see I add a rule, and then simply I'm going to run an action, which is Salesforce action, and then this is going to be my get. Now, one thing you need to be mindful of, that whatever order you set the actions in, that's the order they will run in. So it will go 1, 2, 3. It will never go randomly like 3, 2, 1 or 2, 3, 1. It will just be the first, the second, the third. That's how it's going to run. And the best way to me show you that is through demos. Look at this. So I'll click preview, I'll click publish. So remember, our first step is to pass the parameter. All right, so if I publish this now, let me go into preview mode here. So we're into the preview mode. There's my debug. You can see that the account ID parameter currently is empty. There is no value in there. So step 1 is that. Step 2 goes to the next page. And then step 3, it runs the get. And now remember, the get's not going to run as if the parameter is not there. The parameter has to be there for the get to run in order to return value. So look at this. If I click here, first thing it's going to do is going to go next page. sorry, first thing is going to pass the parameter, then it go next page, then it runs the get. It happens all in very quickly, but here's what's happened. You see, there's the parameter passed, then it's gone to page 2, and then it's run my get, and these are the records that have been returned. So that's like the part 2 of conditions, where you can run multiple conditions directly and pass parameters or even affect different elements. You can come up with 10,000 different combinations for this, but hopefully this is the simplest way to explain that whatever order you set up the rules, that's the order they will run in.